There are levels to stupidity, like kind of low grade stupidity, like the fact I forgot to turn the lights on in my background. I'm going to go do that now. And then there's like high level stupidity, you know? Like really high level stupidity, like elite stupidity. We're talking today about elite stupidity. And I'm not going to lie. I'm somebody that it takes a lot to get me up off my couch, right? It takes a lot to get me to rise and shine and tell you what the hell, this is frustrating to the point that I'm actually going to get angry about it. But this is frustrating to the point I'm actually getting angry about it because there's stupidity that's involved in this conversation is coming in from multiple directions, okay? It's coming in from multiple directions. It's not just the stupidity of the fans, which is massive in this situation. It's also the stupidity of the authorities. It's the fact that I don't understand how any of this is possible. And we are once again headed to Brazil, because when are we not headed to Brazil? And I love Brazil. I've never been there. I want to go there at some point. We make these travel football videos all over the world. The latest episode of Hidden Grounds just came out on the main YouTube channel. But I would love to go to Brazil for that at some point. It obviously has an amazing footballing culture that does a lot of things incredibly well. It does a lot of things in football culture way better than, happens in the United States or even like England. It really gets a lot of things right in the world of football. It just doesn't get right. I don't think there's any, I don't know. I've tried to come up with some sort of other argument, try to argue with myself in a way that would make it make sense where this is something that is like a sustainable and good practice to have. But the truth is it's not. Because here is a picture of a journalist. A photojournalist who was on the side for the Copa do Brasil final between Flamengo and Atletico Mineiro. That was the match. It's a two-legged tie to determine who's going to win the Copa do Brasil. And Atletico Mineiro was losing. Bomb gets thrown on the field and blows this guy's foot up to the point that he requires surgery. And when I say a bomb, I mean a freaking bomb. Like it's a firecracker in the same way that, one of those like weapons grade airsoft guns is like not it's a toy gun. Yeah. If you use it right, you can still severely injure or even kill somebody with it. Okay. This is, a weapons grade firecracker that's being deployed here, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So I'll back this up. This is a picture, right? There's nothing graphic in this image. This is just the dude on the ground. Right, of a journalist that was physically harmed. Somebody that was not involved in any of this, but was severely physically harmed and sent to the hospital because of shit like this. This is courtesy of BTB Sport, as you see right here. This is the goalkeeper for Flamengo, okay? He's going, the ball's been kicked back in the stands, whatever. This is in front of the Atletico Mineiro fans section. And the first thing that jumps out to me is just how much debris is just on the ground, has just been already thrown on the ground all over the place. And what blows my mind is nobody is doing anything about it. Okay? Nobody is doing anything about it at all. Look at all this stuff. It's all been thrown onto the field. If you did this in America, like the United States has 1,000,001 problems. I know. Okay? But if you did this in the stands at any American sporting event, including the most rabid American sports, which, college football, college American football, very tribal, very aggressive fandom, right? If you throw shit on the field, they start calling penalties on the home team. And the more shit you throw on the field, the more penalties they call. I was watching an American college football game this weekend where they throw a bunch of water bottles on the field after a bad call. And the referee literally announced to the stadium that if that happened again, they would pause the game to eject the entire section where they believe the water bottles had come from. Okay, that's what happens. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, that's what's supposed to happen. Because even if it is a water bottle, it is dangerous when there are tens, dozens, hundreds of people chucking bottles onto the field. I don't know if you've ever been hit in the head by a water bottle, let alone 5 or 10 of them. It's an unpleasant experience. And if you're just going, technically what this is you're just going to the office and going to work as a player that's on the field, right? You shouldn't be put in a position where you're going to get drilled by inanimate objects. I don't care if it's a hot dog. I don't care if you pick it up and eat it later. You shouldn't be in a position where you're in that kind of trouble. But these guys might as well be statues. And I'm not blaming these guys, right? Because they're clearly doing what what they've been told to do. But what they've been told to do is dumb. All right, you can be an ultra, right? In an earlier Zealandism, I conflated ultras in football like hooligans. That was wrong. You can be an ultra. You can. I got no problem with flares as long as they're handled responsibly and you got that little sand bucket right there, right? I think that shit's fun. You start throwing the flares on the field, trying to light somebody on fire, then we're having a different conversation, right? But you light your smoke bombs and flags and drums and taking your shirt off and getting a full shirt tattoo of your team. Fucking do it. It's your life. I don't care. Right? And that's awesome. And depending on the match you're going to, that sort of thing can really add to the experience. I think that like English football actually misses out on this in some instances. I really like the Bata culture, right? As somebody that is from the Americas, right? I think the drums and the constant rhythm of the game, I think that's awesome. And that's what you get in Brazil and a lot of other places. The throwing shit on the field just doesn't need to be part of that. And if it happens, you have to not be afraid to like actually take some sort of action, which these people they're just not doing. I mean, they're standing there to try and make sure the fans literally don't storm the field, right? But this is not a question of, can we keep these unruly fans from attacking the field? Because they already are attacking the field. It's just with the Air Force. Okay, they're already getting after the field. I mean, just watch this goalkeeper as he walks over to try and pick up all this stuff. Look at the amount of shit being thrown at him. Now, the ushers obviously, this is a situation where I would be okay with just actually pausing the match, ejecting the entire stand. Right? Because it just feels like this is coming from a lot of different people. But at the very least, you need to be able to send ushers in to remove people that are throwing this shit. It is not hard to figure out who's throwing stuff because they're going to pan this back and you are literally going to see like dudes, like right there. That usher sees that dude. You just say, hey, you got to leave. Right? And if all of a sudden that becomes unsafe for the ushers, then get more dudes. It's Brazil. There's plenty of dudes. There's over 200 million people in this country. It's like that old meme, like, send dudes. You mean nudes? No, I mean, like, I need more dudes. I'm in a fight. Like, just get more dudes, right? Just get more dudes. Like, you can go back and forth on this, but at the end of the day, having an organized kind of police response to this kind of fan aggression is necessary. We haven't even gotten to the whole bomb part of this yet. We're going to get to that at some point, right? But you're staring right at the guy. You just be like, hey, this dude just, like, you can't throw shit on the field. We just saw you throw some shit on the field. Get out of the stadium. You can catch up with your friends after the game. But that's it. But for some reason in Brazil, they just don't do that. You can just do this. You can just step up and just chuck bottles. Like, look at this dude. He's standing 4 feet away from an usher, just ripping multiple, like, I don't know, this toilet paper, like, what are they, TPing the sideline and bottles and stuff? And then this appears. Listen to this thing go off. I mean, that sounds like a fucking war zone. The goalkeeper hears it sing behind him, and so he runs away. If he doesn't, I mean, we're talking like singes on the back of the leg here. Like, how would these guys like it if you just turned around and chucked one of those into the freaking crowd? Right? Like, this is just ridiculous. This is so dangerous. It's so stupid. And I know that, like, there's going to be that one turbocharged loser that's like, this is just proper football fandom and you're American and you'd understand it. No, this is just being a dick. This is just being an asshole. This is just sucking as a human being and then using football as a cover for it. And this sort of stuff happens all the time. And when it does, I'll be right here, because this goalkeeper literally had a mini bomb thrown in behind him that he had to run away from to avoid being blown up. And it's the fans not even understanding any potential repercussions from their actions at all. 0%. This is so dangerous. It's so stupid. And I'm sure the people handling it are drunk. You got a 20% chance that the asshole that threw this accidentally blows his hand off. And so trying to prevent this is actually helping those people too. Because you got a bunch of drunk idiots trying to work with pyrotechnics and explosives in the stands. How do you get this into the stadium? You shove it up your ass? Like, I don't know. What's the security like? Is it that one dude from the meme who like barely touches anybody? This makes no sense. How is this here? How do they not stop people from throwing it? How is the game allowed to continue? Right? If the argument is like, well, if you let fans like this stop the game, you know, if their team is losing, because Atletico Mineiro was losing in this instance, it'd make even less sense if they were winning, right? Well, then stop letting them come to the games. If every single time that they lose, they start doing stuff like this, ban them. Because you know what? They're not actually fans that are there to watch the game and cheer for their team. They're fans that are there to like literally threaten people and throw shit at people and make the entire environment way more dangerous for the media, for the guards, for the ushers, for the players. Right? This is dumb. It's just dumb. And it's dumb from the authorities, the FA, the stadium, whatever, for not being able to handle this, not having the appropriate number of people to handle this. Because I'm going to be honest, the number of times I make a video talking about Brazil, you know this shit's coming. You got to have some sort of security, some sort of protocol that can keep players from getting blown up, that can keep members of the media from having their foot blown off, right? Because that seems like a pretty solid bare minimum for like, I don't know, the Copa do Brasil final. Please tell me you'd figure this out. Like, I want to go to a match in Brazil one day. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with explosives, okay? I get enough of that on 4th of July in the United States, and there's always somebody's uncle who blows off a few fingers. You know how dangerous this shit is? No, I did realize that I left my whole chat thing from the stream up. Yeah, I was about to start the stream, and then I saw this. So deal with it.